let's talk about some more Twitch. Twitch just got exposed, and it's so bad. Dude, more. We're just getting more. Okay.
As if the TwitchCon disaster with Emiru wasn't already bad enough, as well as Dan Clancy's absurd damage control. Well, now we're getting even more reports about how terrible the event's been, as that takes us to Iron Mouse, who says, I deeply apologize to all the VTubers and the fans who had meet and greets at the VTuber booth this year. It breaks my heart to know staff threw out all the gifts. I should have known better than to trust them and taken care of everything ahead of time. I'm so sorry, everyone.
She acts like this is her fault. But also, I'm kind of on both their side on this one. Because Twitch, I think, shouldn't let gifts come through because it's very dangerous. But also, the way they go about it, not good. And also, it's worse than when I was a stagehand and we'd do the same thing. All the gifts, we'd have to not even let them in the building. Like, they weren't even allowed in the building. So we'd have to get rid of them, we'd throw them out, and we'd call the police, and we'd call the bomb squad. Actually, I think there usually was a bomb squad just there already. But before they do that, they grab everything. People grab what they want and they take it and they steal it. That's how it goes.
One of the top responses here to Mouse from Buff Pup reads and also mentions Iron Mouse helping out, saying, Girl, it's not your fault. It's clear as day that they don't know anything about VTubers or care about safety, even when people express months beforehand. When I asked to have a meet and greet for Rose on the screen, they said they had no idea how to do it, and you came in and helped, so I don't want to hear you blaming yourself. I love and appreciate you more than ever, and I'm sorry your experience with trying to help friends was super soured by Twitch, literally not caring, as you...
I don't think that Twitch should be supporting meet and greets at this point. I think people who are having them through Twitch should not be having them. I think they should host their own events because Twitch is incompetent. And if you host your own event and then you get, something bad happen to you or something like this happens, then it's on you. It's not on Twitch. Twitch needs to not do these things because they have proven themselves incompetent.
Usual. So they're not running the meet and greets properly, they're throwing gifts away, their security is a complete mess. I got more to say about all that, but first let's keep going because it still gets worse. As we got Anya the Genius, and she posts, unfortunately due to a miscommunication or misunderstanding, any gifts or presents given to my meet and greet staff were disposed of by the venue staff.
Disposed of? You mean stolen?
I'm very sorry for anyone who gave me a gift IO. I'm not so sure it was a miscommunication or a misunderstanding or an accident even, but like I said, I'll talk more about that once we keep getting some more context. As we've also got Canine Kuro saying on...
And why didn't Twitch say this beforehand? They just randomly did it? They were just like, well, we're here. People are giving gifts. Throw them away. Why didn't they tell people before the TwitchCon even started, hey, don't bring gifts?
Fortunately, if you gave me a TwitchCon gift, the event lost them all. I still really appreciate the intended gifts, though. A response here from Maya says, they threw a gift meant for Chibidoki into the trash bin. And that takes us to Chibidoki, where she says, can anyone else from my meet and greet vouch for this?
Well, there could have been a bomb in it. There could have been poisonous substances, so why did they throw them away? Why did they throw them in the trash?
Nags and I were told to stop. I'm so incredibly sad if this is true. I was genuinely so excited to meet everyone.
I'm not even angry. I'm just, baffled that they're just this incompetent at every fucking level, dude.
They told us we had to end for safety. And that takes us to Chibidoki's experience, because not only did she have gifts thrown away, but they also gave her the complete runaround and cut her event short, citing safety concerns. Isn't that ironic? As Chibidoki says, sorry for the wait, chat. Not having the best experience right now. Just ugh.
Dude, it seems like nobody had a good experience. It seems like Twitch really fucked this, while Dan Clancy was out partying with OnlyFans girls.
The staff have been lovely, for the most part, but they wouldn't let me enter, and told me to walk all the way to the help desk to get permission to enter my meet and greet.
But they let Neon in, and didn't vet him, and he pretended to be somebody else and went onto that person's panel. Holy shit. What? Holy incompetence, Batman!
Because their wristband they gave me doesn't work. I also had to show my face. It was very scary for me, but I understand why. Bruh, imagine not even being allowed to enter your own meet and greet. And it sounds like this...
Yeah, while Neon was allowed to enter somebody else's meet and greet. Come on.
because of a mistake they made with the wristband they gave her or something. So then she had to go like walk around all the way back to the help desk, get that swapped out or whatever. And by that point in time, you know, the whole meet and greet has probably been delayed. That certainly cuts into the time of the meet and greet, which means she has less time to actually hold the event because of their mistakes. And it actually still gets worse from here, because Chibi then responds and says, "They also cut us short and we didn't get to meet everyone. I'm so sorry. If you see me around the convention, please feel free to say hi." And this dude Robrano says, "Wait, they cut you guys short? When I asked the staff, they said it was y'all who cut it short. I can't believe they try and shift the blame onto you guys." Chibi says, "What? No. We always meet every person. Last year we stayed for 3 hours. I think the line was too long, and for safety, they didn't want us staying."
So, like, they just keep lying, dude. What the fuck?
He says, "Oh, that's sad."
At this point, dude, with all of the incompetence, I think that it might be on purpose. And I don't think it's on purpose really at Twitch, but I think whoever's funding Twitch, they're doing this on purpose. Because they're trying to make bad things happen. They're trying to make bad sentiment. And they're trying to cause people to crash out. And then blame it on the people who are the creators, who have fans that crash out. And then when the fans crash out, they blame the creators. And dude, it is so fucking bad. So fucking bad.
A lot of us had to leave because they told us the line was cut because of your voice issues. I think that's what it says. ID sues. I think it's issues. And that typically, they move folk to a different meet and greet area, but due to health conditions, it was just cut off. Chibi says, "What? But I never told any staff of my voice problems. I didn't even talk to any staff near my booth, only at the entrance." And he says at 3:30, they said the line was cut off, and that while most creators typically go to a separate meet and greet area to meet overflow fans, due to the quote-unquote circumstances, we all had to leave. And Chibi says, "I don't think that's referring to me being sick. I think they're referring to the really bad stuff that happened yesterday." Then he says, the stuff that happened yesterday was horrible, but they specifically said that if a creator wanted to meet everyone in the line, then they'd move to a separate area. However, all of us were told to leave because you weren't feeling well and couldn't meet with more people."
What the fuck?
Robrano then added, "I even asked the line capper if there was anything I could do after being told that everyone had to go, and he just said, 'Leave.'" "Oh yeah, you can leave, bruh." Chibi would
"You need to leave."
then post about the conversation that we just read between her and Robrano, saying, "Can anyone else from my meet and greet vouch for this? Nags and I were told to stop. I'm so incredibly
I've heard other people saying the same thing.
sad if this is true. I was genuinely so excited to meet everyone. They told us that we had to in for safety. I never even told any staff I'm sick. I'm so confused. I showed up and asked if I could wait for Nags before going out. That's the only time staff talked to me in the meet and greet area before telling us to cut the line short.
Yeah, they didn't want to tell everybody it was for safety issues because it'll make people freak out. And then if people think that the place isn't safe, then they're not going to go to the next one.
So sorry if this
or they might leave early.
Is true." Which takes us to this response. TwitchCon staff is all over the place on miscommunication between attendees and streamers.
Probably because the guy that's supposed to be at the very top was out partying.
"A friend of mine was given so much incorrect information, being originally told she could join your line after a separate meet and greet at the same time, but then removed entirely from the meet and greet area. She had a small gift bag of things in a clear bag she wanted to give you. Well, I mean, they'd probably throw it out anyways, but, you know, I'm making a joke. It still sucks, but, like, I'm not joking either. Like, they probably would throw it out, as we know. She asked security if they could give it to you. They said yes. Oh my gosh. They said yes, then proceeded to toss it into a nearby trash bin. She confronted them about it. They told her it was a security risk and could have held an explosive.
It's a security risk that could have had an explosive. They threw it in the trash. Excuse me, what? Excuse me, what? No, that's bullshit. They were told that there were no gifts, so they were like, well, there was no gift, so we're throwing it in the trash. Excuse me, what kind of insane nonsense lies is this?
Dude, that's freaking crazy. So they say that they'll give the gift.
And it would be one thing if it was like one person saying it, but so many people were saying it.
To Chibi. And then as soon as they get the gift, they turn to the trash bin and just dump it in there. And like, it's not okay to do that at all, right? But you would think if they're going to be scumbags like this, that they would at least wait until the guests left and were like out of view so they didn't like see that. But it sounds like they did it right in front of them. Like they did not even care at all. Oh yeah, we'll give it to her, and then instantly tosses it in the trash. Actually insane. And this whole thing about this,
well, like Also, what do you do at that point as an employee when somebody says, well, we can't allow gifts in, and then somebody brings a gift in anyway? And they're like, well, we were told we weren't allowed gifts in no matter what, so we got to get rid of it. And they didn't tell us how. They just said no gifts. Like, that's probably what happened here. They probably didn't explain what to do, how to do it, what constitute as a dangerous gift. It doesn't make any sense. And I can imagine how it went. Being an ex-stagehand, it was like that a lot of times, where there was miscommunication because some asshole that was above us was just like, well, I was told this, so do this. And then they'd walk off and we'd be like, what the fuck do we do? I guess just wing it.
Random security that she gave the gift to try and like give the chibidoki, and them lying about that, saying that they'll do it, and then turning around and throwing the gift away, saying it could be an explosive. That sounds completely unreasonable. You see, these conventions have the initial security checkpoint, and the protocol is those people decide who can come in and who can't come in, and if they need to dispose of anything before they're allowed in. So at this point in time, these guests were allowed in, meaning the initial security checkpoint was totally fine with that gift being brought in. And then there's the obvious point about, yeah, them just throwing what they think is an alleged explosive into a nearby trash bin and leaving it at that is also ridiculous. That wouldn't do anything to stop the alleged explosive if they really thought that's what it was. Which, I mean, in my opinion, based off what I just read, I don't think they actually thought that.
I think they were told to think that. I think they were like, well, we can't allow gifts because there might be poisons, there might be explosives. So they were just like, well, I'm just going to repeat what I was told. It might be explosive.
I think these people are just scumbags, and they were happy to throw someone's gift away. And
I don't think that. I think that they were probably angry because of all the miscommunication, and they were probably tired of working there, but they're not going to leave because they're still getting paid.
As we know from the other anecdotes that we've been reading, this was not a one-time thing. This has been a recurring theme throughout TwitchCon with staffers, whether security or other staff.
Yeah, I think it was frustration from the staff. I don't think that it was actually like malice. I think they were just angry at the whole entire event in general.
Throwing gifts away. And there's a bit more to read about all.
And they probably hired a bunch of people that don't even care about Twitch or streamers or content creators in general. And it's just like a bunch of people that just work there.
This, but I suppose while I'm
like at the venue
making this long-winded commentary section now, I mean, you know, comparatively to the rest of the video so far, I'll mention my opinion some more real quick. So we already know that some creeper went after Emiru, and in large part you can argue that Twitch not allowing her to have her favorite security guard, banning that dude, and seeming to limit what the security that she did bring was able to do is something that enabled this creeper to do what he did. But regarding the rest of this, specifically like this issue of meet and greets being ruined, guests being lied to, and gifts being thrown away, it seems like this has all been disproportionately affecting VTubers specifically. And this seems a bit too coincidental, especially because similar things occur on the platform itself, on twitch.tv itself. For example, they'll give a VTuber like a 2-week ban saying that VTuber...
Yeah, probably because Dan Clancy doesn't like to whack it to cartoons. He likes to whack it to OnlyFans girls who are actually real, not cartoons. That's probably why. That's why he gives more attention to the real people, the OnlyFans girls who are like 18 to 20, and doesn't care about VTubers because a lot of the VTubers are older anyway.
VTubers too provocative. But then they'll have literal cam girls doing infinitely more provocative things, and they're totally fine with that. There's no...
Yeah, because Dan Clancy likes that kind of stuff. And so does Hassan and everybody else that's like in that top circle of Twitch.
Repercussions for them at all. If anything, Twitch actually promotes that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So Twitch has a documented history of having a bias against VTubers, and it's really weird and sounds dumb saying that. I don't know like why Twitch is this weird of a platform, but this is something that is well documented at this point in time, as mentioned. So I don't get it, but they're just weird and petty like that. And it seems like that's not exclusive to the platform itself, even as...
That's because Twitch is run by a bunch of old gooners, not new gooners. New gooners like the hentai and stuff. Old gooners, they like real people. So, you know, that's how that happens.
Live in-person event.
They don't understand VTubers at all.
Doing similar stuff and treating VTubers this way too. I suppose that's all to say that this consistent bizarre behavior from Twitch is too coincidental. It seems more likely and more reasonable to conclude that this is actually not an accident, and it is on some level intentional. Okay, so we left off here We read this paragraph about how the security threw the gift away, saying, oh, it's an explosive, so let's put it in this trash can in the hallway or whatever it was nearby, because that's totally going to stop an explosive. Yeah, And so then the user says, we were told we could join the line again by one staffer, only for security to tell us that it was capped. We don't blame any of this on you. Staff clearly doesn't know what it's doing. Chibi responds by saying,
probably because they were told one thing and the other people were told another thing, because there was no actual coherence between the people at the top because they were partying.
I'm gonna cry. I'm so sorry. And then she went on to add, thank you everyone for the kind comments. I've been really heartbroken about everything, but I don't want to focus. I don't want the focus to be on me when much worse things happen to others.
Worse things happen to others. That's so fucked, man. It's so fucked.
I'm sorry if it seems like I'm trying to take away from that. I just wanted to meet you guys. So yeah, in closing, this situation sucks. I feel really bad for the VTubers. I feel really bad for the viewers. Like, I can't imagine a viewer getting a gift, being so excited to give that gift to the streamer, and then you find out that not only did they not get the gift, but it was thrown away. Some people are speculating too.
Well, I mean, what are they gonna do? Stop watching on Twitch? If the people are making money on Twitch, they're not gonna stop streaming, so the fans are gonna go to Twitch. Like, they're not gonna do anything about it, really, except for talk about it online. Yeah, let's keep going with that energy, Twitch.
Some of these gifts might not have actually been thrown away, but that Twitch staff actually took them, although, of course, that is just speculation. But either way, whether stolen or thrown away, this whole thing should...
I think we need to do a countdown. I think we need to do a countdown for everybody to leave all at once. And until that countdown hits 0, people should be leaving, you know, one by one. And I really think this should happen.
It never ended up like this, obviously. I think it's very likely that what happened to the gifts is probably somewhere in the middle. A lot of them were probably thrown away, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was some opportunistic staffers who...
Oh, there definitely was. No doubt there were opportunistic staffers who stole a bunch of expensive items or cool-looking items.
If I can, like, stuff this in my backpack or whatever, you know? So some of it probably did get stolen, in my opinion. That seems highly likely.
It happens all the time, no matter what you do, by the way. Like, even if you have the tightest grip on it, somebody knows the way everything works, and they'll slip something in their bag, in their pocket, behind a desk, under a table.
I'm not saying that's a fact, though, obviously.
No, it's a fact, because it always happens. Trust me, I worked in this industry, man. There's nothing you can do to stop it, unless you just allow the gifts to go out to the people. And what do you do at that point? You know what you do? You don't let them in the fucking building. You don't let staff anywhere near them. Actually, what you should do is let the police take care of it. 100%, 1000%. Only have the police's hands on them and they dispose of them. Probably with fire away from the venue. And also, before the venue starts, before anybody shows up, say, hey, don't bring gifts. And then you tell the creators, hey, don't allow gifts in. Because apparently nobody was told that they weren't allowed to take in gifts. Nobody was told that they weren't allowed to take gifts. That's fucking bullshit, dude.
And then there's the whole thing with meet and greets, people given the runaround with that, saying, oh yeah, you can go, and then saying, oh, you can't go, getting pulled out of the line or whatever. And then from Emiru's testimony the other day, we know that according to her, some of the staffers at Twitch were literally laughing about what happened to Emiru. So yeah, a complete mess of an event to say the least. Let me know what you guys think about all that in the comments. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you here and in the next one. As if the TwitchCon...
Oh, well. Yeah, absolutely fucking retarded, dude. Like, why is nobody doing anything about this, actually? Why is Amazon not doing anything? It's like, maybe they just don't care. They've got bigger things on their plate. Why'd they take Twitch in the first place? Did they think it was going to reach astronomical numbers, or did they use it for propaganda, like when Jeff Bezos bought, what was it, the Washington Times or Washington Post or something like that? He bought one of those magazines and just pushed out Democrat propaganda constantly. And it's funny that the Democrats end up being a terrorist organization, or at the very least, terrorist sympathizers. How about that? Makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Donate to the Fables Folly Farm.